In today's video, we're going to talk about the healing equation, a simple formula that you can follow to feel better. And I'm also going to have a special offer for all my subscribers. Stay tuned, I think you'll enjoy it. Hello there everyone and welcome back to The Lovely Grind. I'm Michael Preby and my website's lovelygrind.com. That's where you can find information about my coaching, information about my Healing Mindset online course and my Support and Success monthly membership area. And it's also where you can find all my blog posts. So I hope you'll check out lovelygrind.com. And also below today's video in the description, there's going to be a special offer for all the viewers for my Healing Mindset course, a special discount. So I hope you'll check that out and we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the video. But today's video, and thank you for tuning in again, today's video is about a healing equation. It's about a simple to remember formula that I think is really going to benefit you if you're someone who's going through a withdrawal and healing process like I was once upon a time. Now, for those of you who don't know my story, I was on Paxil, an SSRI, and Xanax, a benzo medication, for over a dozen years. And I was prescribed those heading into my senior year of college because I was experiencing some panic attacks and anxiety about the panic attacks. And I continued taking those medications all through my 20s and early 30s. And finally things came to a head and I felt like something just had to change in my life. Many things perhaps had to change, or I wanted them to change. But the linchpin in the whole deal was getting off of those medications, I felt. And so I did. I got off the medications, but I then experienced withdrawal. In both cases, the antidepressant and the benzo, that I wasn't necessarily expecting. I didn't know much about the process, but I was able to learn as I went and endure it and move forward and heal and feel better. And so I make these videos to encourage others and to share some information. And in today's video, like I said, I'm going to share an equation. Now, I'm by no means a math guy. I'm a creative type, a writer. Math, science, I can tolerate them, but they've never been my specialty. However, I can appreciate the beauty, the sleekness of a nice equation, the way you plug in certain components, certain variables, and you get a guaranteed result on the other side. It's kind of beautiful. It's kind of sleek. It's kind of simple. And I like presenting things that people can remember in the healing situation in a simple manner. Nice, powerful, easy to remember truths and ideas and equations. So today's equation is this: time plus self-care / self-work equals healing. Now, all of those components are necessary for a person to heal, i.e. feel better. At different stages of the withdrawal process, different components of that equation might be emphasized more. For example, in the early stage of withdrawal, in the acute stage, when perhaps the symptoms are most severe and you don't really have the mental wherewithal or the physical fortitude to get a lot done, that time factor is really important, right? You're just trying to pass the time and hang on. You're just trying to pass the time so that the symptoms subside a bit and you can figure out a game plan for the next step in the process. So time's important there. But believe it or not, at all stages, all three components of the equation are at work. So even though time might be the most important early on, there's also self-care going on because you have to care for yourself to survive the day. You have to cope. And there's even self-work going on, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But that time's important. I always tell people God and time are going to do a lot of the heavy lifting in the healing process. But you have to do your part too, and that's where the self-care comes in. Self-care. Taking care of yourself. Things like sleep hygiene, nutrition, physical exercise, stress reduction, time with God, time getting sunshine, time being in nature. All of these things are a part of self-care. And there's many other components as well. But in order to feel well, a person needs to take care of themselves well. I think sometimes we lose sight of that on the medications. I know that I did. We just expect that feeling good's a given. And maybe when we were younger, in some respects it was, but I tell you, you start getting into your 40s and so forth, you understand you have to care for yourself in a certain way to feel good. And that's something that was really hammered home to me during withdrawal. But again, self-care, an important part of the healing equation. You have to care for yourself. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, and there's a lot of different physical, mental, emotional, spiritual ways that you care for yourself. Find your points of emphasis that you like to focus on with regards to self-care and put them into the equation and combine those with time. It's going to pay off. And then finally, the self-work part of the equation. And people often get maybe a little intimidated sometimes by the idea of doing self-work as you're going through a withdrawal process. It sounds like perhaps it's going to be harmful in some degree or impossible because you just don't have the mental or physical or emotional capacity at the time to do it. But as I said before, I really believe all three components of this equation are present at all times, and you're doing self-work even if you don't realize it. For example, with regards to trauma, a lot of people, when they get off medications, myself included, when they start going through withdrawal, are absolutely slammed by past trauma that was never resolved. For me, it was a lot of stuff that happened in my high school and into my early college years, right before I got on the medications in that time period. And when I got off the Paxil, it all came roaring back in a very dark way, in a very powerful way, in the form of nightmares and ruminations and intrusive thoughts and a lot of emotional pain, a lot of guilt and so forth, a lot of shame. Well, I wasn't per se doing a lot of self-work in the early stages of withdrawal when all of that was just slamming me from every direction. But self-work was going on because for the first time, I was really beginning to process that stuff. Right? Even if it was very confused at first, I was being forced to confront it and deal with it and make peace with it. And that is self-work. And trust me, even if you feel like you're not doing much else in the way of self-work at a certain stage of the healing process, you're getting stronger. You're digging deep and finding inner strength that you didn't know you had, and you're cultivating that. That's self-work. You're getting to know yourself better. You get to know your trigger points, your stress points, the things that stress you, and when you have to back off of a certain situation or away from a certain environment. You're learning more about yourself because of this. That's self-work. And there's a lot of different ways to approach more formal aspects of self-work in the healing process as well. And I have in my Healing Mindset course, which I mentioned at the beginning of the video, 36 worksheets that are going to present a safe and productive manner in which you can work on your own growth during the healing process. Again, you can click on the link in the video description to get a nice discount on the Healing Mindset course on registration, and you can go to lovelygrind.com to the Healing Mindset page and find out more about that course. So I hope you'll check that out. Self-work, there are ways to do it during withdrawal, and again, it's necessary. All three components are necessary. Time is big, but time alone doesn't do it. Self-care is great, but you can't get impatient. You still need to do self-care over time to see healing. And without a little work on yourself in one way or the other, and we've all got ways we need to do it, then certain aspects of healing are going to stall as well. So healing equals time plus self-care and self-work. You put those three things together, and I guarantee you're going to see results and feel better. I hope you found this healing equation helpful. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click thumbs up. You can subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button to be notified every time I put out a new video. Again, I hope you'll go to lovelygrind.com or to the link in the video description and check out the Healing Mindset course. It's 3 dozen video and audio lessons accompanied by supplemental printouts and all of those worksheets. So I really think you're going to find it beneficial, and I hope to see you there as a student. Remember, time plus self-care and self-work equals feeling better. I hope you found it helpful, and until next time, please remember to take care of yourself and your dreams.